mic. Yeah. All I need is one mic. Yeah. All I need is one mic.
Hey everybody, welcome back to One Mic, where I watch shit so you don't have to. And today I'm here to talk about Season 5, Episode 10, the season finale of FX's Snowfall, entitled Fault Lines. I know some of you probably thinking like, oh, here he is coming to shit on this episode. I actually like this episode. I thought it was a really solid finale that was exciting to watch, had a lot of eventful things happening, and also did a really good job. I think better than most of the other seasons have done of setting up the next season and setting up the final season. So I thought it was actually a pretty solid episode. I do have a couple of issues, but my issues are more so in the overall big picture as opposed to issues with this episode. But since this episode really does kind of like close out this chapter and set up season 6, I kind of want to go over this episode by talking about where we leave each character, kind of like what we saw from this character in this episode, maybe even a little bit of a big picture talk, and then just kind of like looking forward to season 6. So I want to start with Teddy because Teddy has been an interesting character this season in that I feel like, especially during the back half of the season, I feel like they've had to make Teddy stupider in order to help move the plot in the direction that they want it to go. Teddy's made a lot of decisions that I just think are bad ones, not just for the character, as in like Teddy McDonald is making bad decisions, but bad decisions that I think the show is making for his character. And I talked about this earlier in the season when I talked about the stuff with Parissa, and then that came into play in this finale. But where we leave off, Teddy has robbed Franklin. He may also have aided in any way with the DEA arresting Gustavo. Why he would do that, I can't really figure out why. I feel like that's not really on the screen. Unless, like, maybe he suspects that Gustavo plans on leaving, and out of spite, he's like, oh, if you plan on leaving, I'm just going to have you arrested. Bad idea, but I wish that had been on the screen. But Ruben, we end this episode with Ruben having actually captured Parissa. We don't know where they are, but I think that's of course I hate Parissa, so I'm glad that this happened. But I think a lot of this stuff is indicative of my big issue with Teddy, of him just making poor decisions. Like, talking about Parissa, I mentioned in the last time he took her on one of these jobs, why the fuck would you take random citizen you're fucking with you on a mission like this? Something that's dangerous. Like, okay, you need a person to keep lookout? Ask Gustavo. You're a former CIA guy. There has to be a number of people you could call rather than bringing along this worthless character who's only good for fucking you when she's sewing up your wounds. Like, not a wise decision for somebody like Teddy, who this show up to this point has really impressed upon us how smart this guy is, how strong of an agent he is. Bringing a civilian along with you on these sorts of missions is just stupid. And now she's kidnapped, and that's the result of Teddy being a dumb fuck. And I think robbing Franklin is stupid too. Like, all of these things that happened in this episode, Teddy facilitated them out of spite. Like, it's not like Franklin left him high and dry. He had Louis and Jerome. He made the decision to work with Louis and Jerome. I'm going to talk about how that's stupid too. But he made the decision to work with Louis and Jerome. He's got them already ready to step in for Franklin. Franklin should be able to leave without issue. Franklin's not leaving and burning bridges behind him. He's just like, yo, well, you got Jerome and Louis. I'm out. Like, you don't need me anymore. I want to live a happy life. I've made you a fuck ton of money over the course of these 5 seasons of this show. Like, he should be able to leave. But Teddy's spite is the reason all of these things play out the way that they do. And arrogance as well. Like, the fact that he's CIA and he knows that he can do whatever, or he feels he can do whatever he wants. That arrogance is what I think is responsible for this action against Franklin as well. And then, he mentioned when Franklin not confronted him, but when Franklin, we'll say confronted him. When Franklin confronted him about working with Jerome and Louis, he was like, it's just business. And that's bullshit, because this whole time Teddy has been, I think saying that it's just business is hypocritical, I think, on Teddy's part, because it's messy, it's reckless, it's stupid to like have a family where you've been working with one person the whole time, that being Franklin, and then to just knowing that they are going behind his back and upending him like this, to then agree to also work with Jerome and Louis. It's messy and it's reckless and it's stupid and it's not within Teddy's character. And then he has the nerve to go around and like wag his finger at Franklin for, if you guys remember this early in the season, mixing the real estate, the legal business with the illegal business. And, he's like, that's just sloppy. You shouldn't be having your real estate businesses dealing, and mixed in with your drug businesses. But at the same time, he's being messy in working with both Jerome and Louis and Franklin. So like a lot of the things that play out in the Teddy storyline in this episode are a direct result of Teddy either being stupid, being arrogant, being spiteful. All of these are characteristics that Teddy has not only not shown to this point, but that are characteristics you don't want to have in this business. So I think that this has been a bad ending for Teddy, but it does set up a great season 6 for Teddy. And this idea of him and Franklin going against one another, the idea of just regular old Franklin off the street going up against a guy with, at the very least, he may not actually be in the CIA right now, but at the very least, he has CIA contacts and CIA maybe people that he can reach out to or whatever. The resources, CIA resources, at least to some degree. And I'm sure they're going to find a way, I hope they're going to find a way to make it believable that these two could actually go, tit for tat and then be on even level, when at the end of the day, it should be a wild advantage for Teddy. And Teddy's going to die at the end of this show, and it's going to be glorious. But them making Teddy this stupid and reckless and spiteful and petty at the end of this season is what's going to make that more glorious. If they were still working together amicably, it wouldn't be as interesting. But let's move on to talking about Franklin. So Franklin, this episode, he gets digitally robbed for $73 million by Teddy. At first, I thought there's no way Teddy did that, but no, because I thought it was just ridiculous that no way Teddy would do that sheerly out of spite. Sure enough, we hear him talking to his CIA connect, and he did do it. But Franklin's now broke. He wants to meet with Louis to have Louis help him catch Teddy, because Teddy won't even acknowledge that he did it. He plays dumb. Franklin blows up on him over the phone, which was a great scene, by the way. And Franklin goes to meet with Louis, just like, okay, look, I need your help. Like, next time you set up a meet with Teddy, let me know the location. And she's like, I can't do that. I can't fuck this up, to help you out. I'm not going to do that to help you. Franklin pulls the heat out on her. It says he would kill her 10 times over if it meant getting his money back. Damson Idris is great with these big, colossal rants where he's just like screaming and throwing stuff. He's really good with being angry. He's doing a great job with that kind of shit. But he blows up on her, takes the gun out, says he'd kill her 10 times over, and then the new cop on her payroll, Buckley, pops up behind him, and she says that she's going to let him live, let him walk away out of respect for Jerome, but if she sees him again, she's going to kill him. I don't particularly... Well, before I move on, let me keep going with the Franklin stuff. At the end of the episode, Sissy goes to his house and essentially agrees to use her KGB contacts to assist Franklin in catching Teddy. And that's kind of where we leave the episode and where we leave the Franklin storyline. But right prior to that, Franklin also goes to the hospital that Kane is in and tells Kane that Louis was behind the hit on him. So now we've kind of set up this like Franklin versus Teddy storyline for season 6. Franklin versus Jerome and Louis for season 6, and Kane versus Jerome and Louis for season 6. So they did some pretty good stuff there. We also have to note that he now has, he being Franklin, really only has Dallas and Black Diamond left and his mother on his team. But one other person we have to talk about, but I'm going to save that. I just have a quick question at the end, but I'm going to save it for the end. Like I mentioned with Gustavo, he's arrested now. He planned on skipping town with his sister-in-law and his nephews after they found a bug in a lamp that the kids broke. I like the conversation that took place between Gustavo and Franklin over the phone. Gustavo is observing a suspicious-looking car, just driving around near him, and he's talking very carefully, but there's a great shot of him in the phone booth from outside, that shot it, I would assume kind of like a wide angle with the camera being kind of close because the dimensions of the booth were very extreme. They were very wide. I thought it was just a very cool look, just like naturally, like with the lines and the way he was framed in it. I thought it was a cool shot. But I don't like the idea of a season 6 with Gustavo in jail. So I'm hoping that something happens. Maybe Teddy uses some leverage to get him out, even though Teddy's probably the one largely responsible for him being in there. But I don't know. The guy that shows up at the arrest, the guy from previous seasons who have been trying to catch all of them before, I wonder if he did this on his own, and I can't remember this guy's name. If he did this on his own, and this is just a coincidence, or if Teddy somehow assisted him. So I'm kind of unclear on how Gustavo got arrested. I'm not unclear but I'm just unclear on whether or not Teddy is involved in it. Like, did this guy do this all on his own, or did he have some kind of assistance from Teddy? Back to Louis and Jerome real quick. I like the fact that after Louis said that Franklin was out the previous night and that it was just them, and she's like, this is all on us. We got it. This is all our shit. Jerome kind of pauses, and he eventually goes, "Fuck it, let's go," or we in here, or some shit like that. But his pause, I like that, because you could tell he doesn't want to be deeper. Like, they've been working at trying to, like, at least he has been trying to, like, get out of it, like, because it's had such a bad impact on him mentally. He's been trying to kind of like ease his way out a little bit, I think. So to find himself now in much, much, much deeper, I think is not good with Jerome. But he also is just like, you're fucked at that point. Like, whether you like it or not, you are in. So you might as well just go, fuck it, we're in. And that's just it. But yeah, I love the scene with her and Franklin on the rooftop. I thought that was really cool. I think Louis is not doing well with me at this point. Like, the decision to, like, Franklin made her, like, he gave her everything. He put her in the position to where she was even able to talk to Teddy. Like, yes, she handled shit while Franklin was shot, but like, all her significance in the game is because of Franklin. And to side with Teddy over Franklin, like, that's your nephew. He put you in the game. He's got $73 million that the guy that you are now doing business with, the guy that you are doing business with behind Franklin's back, you are now choosing him over your nephew. To me, it makes Louis look really bad. And I'm not a big Louis fan. Leon appears to be out, although I do think he seems hesitant. Like, him watching them play dominoes and old boys shooting up in the air. I think Leon kind of feels like the whole conversation where he's like, they're introducing this bill. You're going to get the same amount of time for, one rock as you would get for, I don't remember the number, however much powder. The game is changing up. This bill is going to go into effect at the midterms. He's like, Einstein's midterms? Like, I feel like Leon, and this is not outwardly said, but I do feel like it's on the screen, that Leon kind of feels like he can't leave them alone. Like, if he leaves, everything's going to go to shit. And he's probably right. But Wanda's got a passport. Looks like they're going to make that move. But we're going to have season 6 without Leon? Come on. Avi's dead. He gave up the information that Ruben needed. I did like the scene with Ruben and Teddy at Avi's house at the same time. That was kind of cool, with him being able to apprehend Parissa. But yeah, Avi's dead. We're not going to see him anymore. Rest in peace, Avi. He's been fun. And then lastly, I want to talk about Peaches real quick before I wrap up, because I think there's been a lack of clarity regarding my stance on Peaches. I'm not going to run down everything that I predicted for what I thought was the direction of the Peaches storyline that I was saying at the beginning of the season, but it feels to me like something happened with DeRay Davis and this crew that for whatever reason, midway through filming, he was out. He was fired. He quit. I don't know, because that's how this feels. We got very little Peaches at the beginning, and then he was gone. And my problem with the Peaches storyline isn't that I was quote-unquote wrong about him having AIDS, like the real emphasis on him coughing. I still feel like that might have been what they were going for when they started this, if what I'm saying about DeRay Davis being out mid-filming is what actually happened, and they had to call an audible and make the story that they made. But what I'm about to say is not me feeling away because I was quote unquote wrong, My problem is how they've handled this and the Alton situation. And there was somebody in the comments that was like, it's all in the dialogue. Listen, if you're comfortable with a staunchly loyal henchman for Franklin who has been there for him this whole time and has never shown even an iota of disloyalty, turning into a junkie betrayer off camera because it was in the dialogue, you're watching this shit wrong. That's not how this works. Like, you don't get to take a character like that and have them supposedly do actions that completely betray the character that we have seen up to this point, have that happen off screen, and then just have characters tell you that that's what happened. Oh, Peaches robbed us. Like, to me, it felt like they were accepting something that couldn't possibly be true. And my whole issue with the Peaches shit was not about me being wrong about him having AIDS. It was about how the show, like it seemed like everything that they were telling me made no sense. Like, there's no way you just made Peaches a junkie who robs people and sets them up to be shot. Like, there's no way you do that off camera and then just have them talk about it. And they're just like, yeah, Peaches did. I felt like they were wrong in assuming that, and that this was a trick that the show was trying to play on us. Like, say Peaches did it, and then they let it go, and then we find out later what's really going on with Peaches. But they never addressed it anymore, which makes me think, like, we were really meant to be, like, we were looked at as that stupid that we were meant to take just the verbalization of Peaches did this and it's all his fault. We were meant to just take that and accept it. We're that stupid that we're going to accept an explanation for Peaches that doesn't fit with his character at all. And, like, that's what really pisses me off about it. And it's kind of the same thing with Alton. Like, yes, we all know collectively that Teddy probably killed Alton, or definitely killed Alton. But they never really addressed that. Like, it's like they came back from it. Sissy has been adamant about trying to kill Teddy, but Teddy denied any kind of involvement with it. They stopped talking about it for like a 7-episode stretch. Franklin brings it up again in this conversation with Teddy in this episode. And I just feel like the Alton shit is still open. Open in the sense of, like, there needs to be some kind of closure there. Because there's too much gray area in how Teddy is being held accountable, in this case not being held accountable, for what he did there. So, like, I'm less pissed off about that. I'm pissed off the fact that they keep bringing it up, but they don't actually move it forward, and they'll go like 7 episodes without addressing anything revolving around Alton. But there has to be some sort of closure to what happened with Alton, and they've just kind of like teased it, but haven't really moved it forward at all. So that's more of like, I don't like how they did this, but like the Peaches shit is unacceptable to me. If they hadn't done such a good job in this episode of setting up a compelling final season, I'd probably be out on this show, because that's so insulting what they did with the Peaches character. And to have him to do something like that, and then just have the characters verbalize something completely ridiculous, and they're being straight up with it. Like, on its face, this is what we are saying happened, and this is what we expect you to accept happened. And that was so ludicrous of an explanation, and it's so insulting that we're actually supposed to sit here and accept that as the explanation for what happened with Peaches. It's infuriating. Like, I hate what they did with Peaches, and you should too. And you should be insulted that they sat here and just had characters tell you that he was disloyal, and that he was a junkie, and that he stole money from them, and he set them up to be taken down by, like, all of these things, when none of this is on the screen and no amount of attention was given to trying to make it believable that Peaches would do something like that. So you should be pissed off. I want to wrap this up by just asking one question. Who did Veronique call after Franklin left the room saying that she need help? Her scamming ass mama? Is her mama alive? I don't even remember. But why would you, like, I feel like she couldn't be that helpful. I feel like Veronique might be up to no good. So we'll see for season 6. And until then, peace.